Imagine someone showing contempt towards you. How would you react? Would you explode in rage or simply choose to ignore it? Stoicism, an ancient philosophy, offers valuable insights and the ability to make meaningful judgments in such situations. Overcoming contempt is a common challenge we inevitably encounter in life. It can be highly frustrating, but what if we delve into the deep philosophy of Stoicism to gain the knowledge and tranquility necessary to deal with such complex circumstances with wisdom and grace? In this video, we will explore 12 practical lessons of Stoicism that can serve as a guidebook for effectively managing and responding to contempt in a more productive manner. Lesson number 1: remain calm. The fundamental principle of Stoicism is that our inner peace is not disrupted by external events, but rather by our interpretation of these events. As Epictetus wisely observed, people are not disturbed by real objects or events, but rather by their interpretation or perspective on these objects or events. Contempt in itself does not have the ability to cause harm or offense. Our feelings of offense or irritation can be explained by our interpretations and judgments. When someone shows disrespect towards us, it is important to understand that their actions are a manifestation of their own thoughts, emotions, and perspectives, and this does not reflect on our intrinsic value or dignity. Maintaining composure in the face of others' disrespect can be a challenging task. It is widely acknowledged that this task is difficult, but it is worth it. Moreover, it presents an opportunity for self-reflection and self-assessment. Lesson number 2: reflect more on yourself. Another important principle of Stoicism is the continuous development of introspection and self-analysis, as what we believe directly affects the quality of our lives. Therefore, it is necessary to consciously strive for self-improvement and change in our behavior. According to the renowned philosopher and emperor Marcus Aurelius, the level of happiness in your life is determined by the quality of your ideas. When faced with disrespect, introspection is necessary. Did my own words or actions play a role in creating this situation? How can I align my response with my personal values and virtues? By conducting sincere and impartial introspection, we can gain a deeper understanding of the incident and our personal role in it. Self-poisoning, rather than spontaneous reactions, any impulsive actions we take ultimately harm us, both in decision-making and choice. Accompanied by disrespect, they can ultimately lead to the loss of desired or beloved positions. Some people in these work contexts behave in this way to compel you to make disadvantageous decisions. Therefore, it is better to avoid spontaneous actions. Not only does this ease our learning from the event, but it also contributes to personal development and the acquisition of wisdom. Therefore, self-mastery in behavior when faced with disrespect rests on the steadfast foundations of Stoic philosophy. Stoicism places significant importance on distinguishing between what lies within our immediate sphere of influence and aspects related to our inner qualities, as well as aspects beyond our control, namely external factors. This is referred to as the doctrine of control. To better understand this lesson, Stoics assert that we have absolute power over our thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and principles, the essence of our inner world. Utilizing our will and making decisions are within our realm. However, we do not have direct control over external events, the actions of others, and surrounding conditions. Disrespect from another person is an external event. Stoics acknowledge the inherent limitations of human nature. As humans, we have innate flaws and limitations that render us vulnerable to errors and imperfections. When someone behaves disrespectfully, it may be a sign of their personal shortcomings and limitations rather than a true reflection of your character. Understanding that the responsibility for disrespect lies with the other person allows you to cultivate emotional resilience by developing the ability to maintain composure and tranquility in the face of disrespect. You can avoid impulsive reactions and emotional distress. This does not mean that you should tolerate or endure disrespect. Rather, you can choose your response more prudently and wisely. Stoics emphasize that true freedom and power lie in our ability to choose our responses to situations, rather than in our attempts to control the events themselves. When confronted with disrespectful behavior, you can respond with composed calmness or confidence, rather than with anger or resentment. Understanding that the responsibility for disrespect lies with the other person and directing your attention to what you can influence allows you to maintain your inner tranquility and make wiser decisions regarding how to respond to disrespectful behavior. This approach not only improves your personal emotional state, but also contributes to better communication and relationships. This lesson demonstrates a powerful illustration of the importance of self-discipline and emotional resilience, which are key principles of Stoicism. Lesson number 4. Learn to pause. Seneca astutely observed that when you experience anger, it is important to recognize that it is not just a temporary misfortune, but the result of a recurring pattern of behavior. Stoics believe that self-control and logic are essential foundations for a satisfactory existence. They argue that spontaneous reactions triggered by strong emotions such as anger or irritation often lead to foolish decisions. To avoid this when confronted with disrespect, Stoic philosophy suggests restraining outbursts of reactions. This improves the quality of your life and contributes to a state of tranquility. Take a moment to pause and give yourself the opportunity to gather and organize your thoughts. Pausing allows you to regain emotional control and respond in a more thoughtful and balanced manner. Refusing to react impulsively aligns your response with the teachings of Stoicism, which emphasize wisdom and self-control. Applying this approach leads to more productive exchanges and reduces the intensity of conflicts when faced with disrespect. The pause is a key technique of Stoicism that helps individuals maintain composure and make logical decisions when encountering disrespect. Ultimately, this practice leads to more favorable outcomes and contributes to personal development and intellectual progress. Lesson number 5. Show more empathy. Epictetus, a renowned Stoic philosopher, taught that events unfold according to their own nature rather than our desires. Instead of resisting, it is essential to accept and embrace what happens as it is. Stoics emphasize the interdependence of people and the idea that understanding the intentions and feelings of others can lead to more satisfactory relationships and personal growth. Practicing empathy involves recognizing that disrespect may not stem from personal or intentional motives, but rather from insecurities, fears, or ignorance. A commitment to empathy can also foster compassion towards the individual, thereby reducing any negative emotions you may feel towards them in interactions. By demonstrating empathy towards someone who has shown disrespect towards you, you can avoid perceiving their words or actions as a personal offense. This allows you to respond politely and gracefully, or you may choose not to react at all. Simply listen and walk away. Empathy allows you to understand the perspective, emotions, and motives of the other person rather than giving in to anger or defensiveness. You can choose to respond with kindness and respect, thus preventing the escalation of conflict and preserving your own dignity. As a practice, empathy embodies Stoic teachings of wisdom, compassion, and personal growth. By gaining insight from challenging circumstances and developing empathy, you enhance your ability to communicate effectively. Before continuing with the video, I want to congratulate you on your unwavering diligence in reaching this stage. Your strength is remarkable, and now, united, let's continue to the end. Let's proceed. Lesson number 6. Focus solely on virtue. A key principle of Stoicism is the development of virtues such as wisdom and courage, and behaving with honesty and moral righteousness. According to Stoic philosophy, virtue can simply be defined as right thinking. This implies that embodying virtue involves behaving in a rational manner and aligning your actions with the natural order of the universe. Stoics consider virtue to be the highest good, prioritizing it over indifferent or secondary matters that do not require special attention. When faced with disrespect from others, Stoicism advises directing our emotional state towards virtue. It's important to note that we shouldn't ignore or accept disrespect. Instead, we should react according to our principles and Stoic teachings, prioritizing moral virtue. By adopting this approach, we can prevent our emotions from controlling us, protect our dignity and integrity, and grow as individuals. Stoicism encourages us to strive for self-improvement, especially in challenging circumstances and conditions beyond our control. Lesson number 7. Practice empathy and understanding. In the Stoic lesson on managing disrespect, the focus is on developing Stoic resilience. Stoics recognize that disrespect shown by others is often not solely a reflection of their own shortcomings, but may also stem from their own personal challenges and perspectives. Developing empathy and understanding can contribute to maintaining tranquility and facilitating more effective communication. Empathy involves the ability to empathize with others, putting ourselves in their shoes, and seeking to understand their emotions, perspectives, and motives. When someone behaves disrespectfully, it's important to remember that they may be facing difficulties or struggling with their own problems. Empathy establishes a connection that allows for a deeper understanding of the underlying motives behind disrespectful behavior. Stoics emphasize considering the circumstances in which actions occur. Disrespect is often not directed specifically at an individual due to personal antipathy, but may instead be a reaction to stressful situations, external influences, or misinterpretations. By seeking to understand the circumstances surrounding the situation, you can realize that the display of disrespect does not necessarily reflect an assessment of your intrinsic value as a person. Stoics also emphasize the importance of impartial and objective assessment of situations instead of reacting emotionally to disrespect. By employing calm and logical thinking, one can refrain from impulsive reactions. Empathy and understanding are necessary for effective communication when faced with disrespectful behavior. Instead of responding with anger, calmly and confidently discussing the issue can lead to more productive dialogue and conflict resolution. Developing empathy and understanding fosters well-being rather than allowing disrespect to deeply affect you. The seventh lesson of the Stoics serves as a reminder that cultivating empathy and understanding not only improves the quality of our interpersonal relationships, but also strengthens our emotional resilience. Understanding people's actions can contribute to conflict resolution by reacting to disrespect with empathy. This lesson promotes wisdom and inner calm. Lesson number 8. Acceptance. One of the fundamental principles of Stoicism is recognizing and accepting circumstances beyond our control, such as lack of respect or attention from others. The truly content person is one who does not lament what they lack, but enjoys what they have. This implies that we should cultivate gratitude for what we have and refrain from excessive worry about what we lack. Furthermore, Stoicism instructs us to distinguish between what is within our sphere of influence and what is not, a principle known as the dichotomy of control. We have the ability to regulate our own thoughts and actions, but we do not have control over external circumstances or the behavior of others. This applies to your actions, words, and thoughts. Therefore, when faced with disrespect, it is important not to let it disrupt your inner peace. Instead, we should recognize it as an inherent aspect of life, ripe for improvement, and handle it with wisdom. By accepting disrespect with rationality, we can avoid excessive emotions such as anger, irritation, or offense, and instead extract lessons from the experience and mature as individuals. This allows us to respond to disrespect in a logical and calm manner. One of the fundamental principles of Stoicism is recognizing and accepting circumstances beyond our control, such as the lack of respect or attention from others. Epictetus asserted that a wise person is one who does not lament what they lack, but enjoys what they have. This implies that we should cultivate gratitude for what we have and refrain from excessive worry about what we lack. Furthermore, Stoicism instructs us to distinguish between what is within our sphere of influence and what is not. Additionally, Stoicism advises us not to allow disrespect to disturb our inner peace. Instead, we should recognize it as a part of life and focus on improving ourselves and our circumstances. We can only address issues with wisdom and accept disrespect with a Stoic mind. In such circumstances, we can avoid excessive emotions like anger, irritation, or offense, and instead learn from the experience and mature as individuals. This enables us to respond to disrespect in a logical and calm manner. Lesson number 10 emphasizes the use of humor. Sometimes a touch of humor can make a big difference. As the ancient philosopher Seneca stated, self-control is demonstrated when a person effectively manages matters that should not be considered significant. Stoicism guides us to regulate our emotions and behave rationally, while recognizing the importance of humor in dealing with difficult circumstances. Humor is crucial in managing any situation, positive or negative. Applying humor helps to alleviate stress, maintain emotional balance, and prevent excessive irritation or nervousness. When faced with disrespect, instead of succumbing to overwhelming emotions, we have the opportunity to respond with witty remarks or lighthearted jokes. Humor, when used with tact and moderation, can serve as a valuable Stoic strategy for resolving disrespectful situations constructively and calmly. Lesson number 10 advises choosing your response wisely. This Stoic approach to addressing disrespect is linked to the concept of personal agency, emphasizing that you have the ability to choose your reaction when facing challenging circumstances. This involves using self-discipline and self-awareness to determine how to respond wisely and fairly when encountering disrespect. Let's carefully examine this lesson. Stoics place great emphasis on self-discipline as a means of consciously choosing our attitude towards various situations. Instead of reacting spontaneously to disrespect, you can pause for a moment and evaluate your alternatives. This allows you to avoid impulsive reactions, such as anger or irritation, and instead make more thoughtful and rational choices. When faced with disrespect, it is useful to consider the significance of your reaction. Think about whether your spontaneous response or a response full of strong emotions would be effective in the situation. Often, using a calm and confident response can be more effective in expressing your point of view and resolving disputes. Stoics highly value inner tranquility as a state characterized by calmness and equilibrium. Choosing a rational reaction to disrespect helps maintain this state. It is important to note that this does not mean you should ignore or accept disrespect. Instead, it implies that you can maintain composure and have a clear state of mind. One of the important principles of Stoic philosophy is the importance of refraining from responding to contempt. Further disrespect perpetuates a cycle of conflict and hostility, and you ineffectively address the problem. It is better to respond in a way that aligns with your personal values and the lessons of Stoicism, such as showing compassion and confidence. This approach can help diffuse conflict and encourage productive dialogue. By making reasonable choices in your responses, you assert your power over your reactions rather than relinquishing control over external circumstances or the actions of others. This is an important aspect of Stoicism, as it gives you control over your life and well-being, regardless of external circumstances. This Stoic lesson underscores the importance of practice and careful choice of your reaction to disrespect. By maintaining your inner calm, you not only sustain a sense of peace, but also enhance your ability to solve problems more effectively and foster healthy relationships. This lesson underscores the importance of behaving in accordance with one's own principles and teachings, rather than instinctively reacting to the actions of others. Lesson number 11 focuses on forgiveness. Consider a situation where someone shows contempt towards you. How will you react? Stoicism, an ancient philosophy, offers profound reflections and recommendations in this regard. According to Stoics, forgiveness is not an act of mercy towards another person, but rather a form of self-care and inner peace. However, forgiveness is not simple. It is a gradual process akin to the construction of a skyscraper. It is not simply forgetting or condoning what happened. Instead, it is a decision to let go of harmful feelings that harm you more than the other person. Stoics emphasize the importance of forgiveness, but not without reason. We must practice forgiveness with reason, empathy, and fairness. Stoicism teaches us to focus our attention on aspects of life that we can control while relinquishing concern over those aspects beyond our control. While we cannot influence the actions of others, we can manage our own reactions. By choosing to forgive and release the burden of anger and bitterness, we have the opportunity to progress towards deep tranquility and peace of mind. Stoicism defines forgiveness as a demonstration of strength rather than weakness. It is not surrender, but rather victory. It is not giving up something, but rather a form of compensation or acknowledgement. Forgiveness is the pinnacle of self-care and personal development. Lesson number 12. Change your perspective. Stoic wisdom pertains to the cognitive ability to perceive and understand phenomena from a broader and more impartial point of view. This helps to avoid excessive emotions or personalizing situations. When someone shows contempt towards us, instead of taking it personally, Stoic wisdom allows us to recognize that contempt may reflect their own insecurities or weaknesses rather than ours. When faced with contempt, it's best to simply ignore it, since you cannot control how others perceive you. You can choose to ignore it, forgive them, or learn from it, rather than allowing it to destabilize you. Perspective allows you to focus on essential aspects of life, your goals, principles, and moral qualities. Direct your energy and time towards pursuing what is truly beneficial and meaningful to you, rather than dwelling on bitterness or resentment. By applying this approach, you can experience a more satisfying and peaceful life. Therefore, when faced with challenges in the future, remember to maintain composure and make rational decisions. Stoicism does not involve suppressing emotions, but rather controlling them correctly. By implementing these 12 Stoic principles, you can maintain a calm and resilient demeanor in the face of rudeness and uncuffed behavior. Subscribe and turn on notifications for more lessons on ancient wisdom from the great Stoic philosophers. Thank you for watching, and see you in our next video. Farewell.